And now we have the HHS document, which you, I think, tweeted about a little bit. What did you see there, and why isn't that getting more traction?
Okay, so this story is just, it's mind-boggling, Drew. I agree, it deserves more attention. HHS commissioned a public relations firm named Forrest Marshberg in September of 2020, and then spent almost $1 billion over the course of the Biden administration, essentially to propagandize the American public. Their themes were the main goal was to tell people that if you don't get the COVID vaccine, you are unclean. And they fear-mongered about the risk to kids. They pushed forward false ideas about natural immunity, where they said essentially denied its existence. They did everything they possibly could to tell you about the benefits of the vaccine, but never once told you about the potential harms, right? So, for instance, the side effects for myocarditis for young men, as best I can tell, never came up once in any of their ads. No, and they put these ads into like the most vulnerable populations. It essentially was $1 billion spent by the taxpayer to propagandize the American people.
And in terms of the risk reward, sorry, not just risk reward, but the informed consent that we were offering our patients, I would argue we are still generally not giving them proper informed consent. We are offering only 2 vaccines when there are at least 4. And we are not offering the idea that there might be monoclonal antibodies, and there's certainly Paxlovid or Molnupiravir and other ways of treating this thing should it occur, as a component of how we help the patient make the decision about whether they want to booster or not. It's just not being done anywhere. And it's being pushed. The 2 versions are just being pushed by the CDC. I would argue that is virtually illegal, what they're doing.
Well, certainly if what the propaganda firm, the PR firm did is
let's call it what it is. It's a propaganda firm. And that's, by the way, that's the other part. I want to see a law that prevents propaganda from being perpetrated on the American people. That is disgusting. But go ahead. Well, the propaganda firm, let's call it what it is.
If a pharmaceutical company had put those ads out, if they put those ads out, then they would be liable by the FDA for violating like kind of the advertising restrictions the FDA places on pharma. Like they would have, for instance, had to have told the public about the potential for side effects, right? They couldn't have just promised things that were beneficial about the product without also telling the potential harms, right? It's really shocking. Essentially, by the U.S. government became, during the pandemic, especially during the Biden administration, the most gung-ho cheerleader for the pharma industry in the history of the pharma industry. They've never had a better salespeople.